All right, so we're going to be showing a wrist release tonight, and we're going to be doing our horizontal wrist release. There's several options to it, but in general, a person comes up and approaches you and grabs you by the wrist. And so you get out and boom, drop them, put them down, okay? So let's break that down very quickly. So a person comes up and latches onto your wrist. They got a good firm grip. You can't pull yourself out, so I've got to use my strong parts, my elbow and my shoulder, against his weaker parts, his fingers, all right? So to do that, I'm gonna bend my knees and open my hand as wide as I can. I'm gonna take a slight step forward and I'm gonna turn my hand to the side so that my wrist is going through the skinny part between his thumb and his fingers. Then I'm gonna push my elbow in with my shoulder, which automatically breaks his fingers and his thumb open. At the moment that they can no longer grab, I'm gonna shift my weight back, pull back, and use all my energy to thrust and strike him right in the solar plexus. Let's look at that from the other side. So same thing, he latches on. Notice his fingers and his thumb is almost touching. I'm gonna bend my knees, open as wide as I can, slight step in, use my shoulder and elbow strength, turn my hand sideways, and as you can see, his fingers cannot keep a grip on my wrist. As soon as my fingers are loose, I pull out and I strike. Okay, so let's look at that one more time. He latches on, out, strike. Now, this can be done multiple ways. I can do that same technique where I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna come out, and I'm gonna strike to the crotch, or I'm gonna strike to the temple, okay? I can also change my horizontal slightly downward so that when I come in, I'm shooting down. This gives me leverage to come up and hit him right in the temple, or slightly change that horizontal to come up and then bam, get him right in the carotid artery. That gives me multiple strike points to disable the opponent, but the key is using your elbow and your shoulder that are much stronger than his fingers to use leverage to get out of that grip release. All right, so another option for the horizontal release is a more direct option. In this example, the opponent latches onto your hand and you just immediately take that leverage and right into the chest, all right? So in that example, similar to the example that we showed previously, same thing, we're opening our hand, we're taking a step in and we're starting to push in, but in this example, I'm taking a little bit deeper step and I'm just using that leverage to push that elbow directly into the opponent's chest. If you look at that from the other side, same thing, he grabs on, open hand, bend knees, step in, and this time I'm just using all my energy, pop, drive that elbow right into his chest. Go back here to the other side. You can also use this if you're maybe not ready to put the person out. You can use this and go for their elbow. You can come in and pop their elbow instead. Let me do a better shot on that. Gives him a little zing in his hand. Makes him wish he didn't grab onto you. But more directly, it's just taking your elbow and driving it directly into his chest. That's a very effective way to use that horizontal release. All right, so still on the subject of releases, we're working on the horizontal release. Here's yet another example. This one is a bit more complex, so we'll have to break it down pretty good for you. But in this case, instead of looking to put the person out, you're looking to put them on the ground. So they walk up to you, they grab you by the hand, you step in, and bam! On you go. So let's break that down. He's grabbing in, same exact motion. I am opening my hand, bending my knees, taking a slight step in, turning my hand to the side. In this example though, when my elbow comes in, my foot cross steps in, comes in, I then step behind and I will throw the opponent down backwards. Let's look at that from the other side, then I'll get a better view. Once again, he grabs on, bend my knees, open my hand, slight step in, turn my hand sideways, start the elbow in. With the elbow comes the cross step. Then this one steps behind, captures his foot, and down he goes. So let's show that live action one more time. He comes in, I come in. I end up standing in the ready position to do whatever if he happens to bounce up off the ground. Another example of that is slightly different. We're going to come in, and this time instead of using our elbow leverage here, we're going to come over the top. I've got his hand, cross step, step between, on his foot. Now he's in a really precarious position because if I've got his foot trapped, if I did that for real, he might break his ankle. Let's look at that from the other side. Once again, I come in, bend, open, step in. This time I'm coming over the top. Here, cross step, step on his foot. Again, I have to lift my foot up because if I don't, he's breaking his ankle as he goes onto the ground. So that's another horizontal release. Both of them end up with the opponent on the ground. A little bit more complex. You got to use that cross step to get behind the opponent, capture their foot before you take them down to the ground. Still on the subject of releases, we're going to do our last horizontal release. In this example, I'm going to use that release in order to get my hand free so I can capture and do an armbar. So in this example, they're going to walk up, they're going to latch onto your hand, you're going to do the same thing here. On the cleats, but then I just switch over to get them into an armbar once I've got my hand out. So let's break that down. He grabs on, once again, open hand, bend knees, step in, turn sideways, except when I come to break out, hand's going to grab on, I'm stepping back, arm bar, down again. Okay, let's look at that from the other side. He latches on, open hand, step in, turn sideways. As I begin to get that release, hand's going to grab on, turn, and I'm ready for the arm bar. Boom. How'd he get it? Okay? So very simple. It's just using your release to transition hands and put yourself in position for a very effective arm bar. One more demo. He grabs on, out, and And that's it for our horizontal releases.